Hi, friends. Hello, hello. So I'm very excited for this. I haven't even really told team that I'm going to be doing this. They're used to this by now. Um, and also they know that I go live. So I am really excited as we are gearing up for our first annual Create Leadership Conference at the Institute for Trauma and Psychological Safety. As we're gearing up for our in-person conference in November 9th through 12th here in Columbus, Ohio, we've been having a lot of conversations around leadership in our spaces, on our podcast. And I wanted to just hop on here because I'm going to start doing a leadership series, like leadership lessons series, doing more lives on Facebook and sharing these here because I think that they're really helpful. Hey, Lisa, I'm so glad you're here for this. It's perfect. So something came up in conversation in one of our containers today around what we weren't talking about as leadership. And as I was sitting here just like pondering over it, it really is a super important leadership concept. And it's something that as I have developed this over the last few years, especially in the last year, has fundamentally changed how I lead myself and how I lead other people and how I allow myself to be led and how all of that feels really good and aligned. So I wanted to hop on here today and have this be the first lesson. And the thing that we know, if we look at leaders who are really impactful, who are in the textbooks, in the news, in our history books, or just well known for their leadership skills. When we look at these people and we look at all of them, whether or not you agree with how they led or not, it's not important. When we look at them, they almost all have this particular practice. And what that practice is they are people who ensure that they are intentional and attentive. They prioritize intention and attention. And the really good ones, the really impactful leaders, do this both internally and externally. So let's talk about what that looks like really quickly. So as leaders, what we want to do is we want to ensure that everything that we are doing, we know the why behind it, and that we are pausing and giving the decisions that we make enough attention to ensure that they are the right things to do, that they're the things that we want to do, the things that will go in a direction that we would like to go. So when I go to make a decision, if I ensure that I understand the why behind what I'm doing, and I also give myself attention and ask myself, like, what is it that I would really like to have happen here? And why would I like to have that happen? Like, what's going on inside of me? What am I feeling? What am I desiring? And then I am intentional with the actions I take from that space. It's so much easier to follow through, to follow myself, right? For my future self to follow what my past, or my present self to follow what my past self decided. Because if I give myself attention and check in around what I need and what I desire, and then I intentionally move from that space, the likelihood that what I decide is going to still feel good for me in the future goes way up. So that's the internal piece. The external piece of this is, when I lead other people, am I clearly communicating my intention, and am I giving them my attention? So when I lead other people, am I attentive to what they want and what they need and what they desire? Am I here and present with them? Am I putting in the intentional effort to understand what it is that they want and they need? And from there, am I intentionally communicating and making decisions with those things in mind? And even if I can't take those things in mind, even if somebody asks for something that they want, or they ask for something that they need, and I cannot meet that need, or I cannot deliver on that want, I am intentional about explaining to said person, I see your need, and this is why I can't meet it in this way. I am attentive to the fact that the need exists, and I validate that, and I explain to them why that's not going to work, or why that's something that we can't do in this moment. And I also leave it open and say, and if we can find another solution that works, I am so open to that. If you have another idea, I'd love to hear it. We will keep our eyes open to look for opportunities to meet this need. Thank you for communicating it to me. An intentional and attentive leader is someone who, even when they make decisions that other people don't like, they will still follow them because they understand and because they feel seen and heard and valued. So the reason why, right? When my husband's a phenomenal leader, TLC, when he leads me, even if I don't like what he's telling me to do, even if I'm not a fan of his direction or the judgment that he makes over something that's happened, and I know those words are really have a lot of emotion tied to them, judgment and direction, and your partner telling you what to do. I trust my husband to lead me, right? Outside of when I'm in business, I trust him to lead me. I also trust myself to lead myself, and I lead myself to follow him, right? I lead myself into following him the same way that we can lead ourselves into following bosses or mentors or coaches or whomever, right? We get to decide that we're following this person. And the reason that I decide to follow his leadership, the reason that I trust his leadership, is because I know that when he leads me, it is from a place of attention and intention. I know he cares about me. He's shown me that in the past. And the reason why I believe that our institute has grown, and the reason why I can say things online, or I can say things to people that they don't necessarily like to hear, that doesn't feel good for them, right? Sometimes I'm pointing out something they're doing that really isn't serving them. Sometimes I'm saying something that really challenges their way of thinking or their way that they've been conditioned to think. Sometimes I have to make decisions that people don't like, that they're like, this isn't how I would do it. And what I have found is that if I ensure that I have given people attention and I have made my intention clear, people are so much more likely to follow, or so much more likely to at least understand. And if people who I have given my attention and intention to are committed to misunderstanding me, or they decide that they don't want to trust me, or they don't want to be led by me, that's completely fine. That is more than fine. That is great. I still know that what I did was the right thing to do and was in alignment with my integrity and my decisions and my values. So that's the other part of this, is that if people decide not to follow you, it's a heck of a lot easier to feel comfortable with that if you know that you attempted to lead in an intentional and attentive way. It removes a lot of the, oh my gosh, but like maybe I did something wrong, or maybe I did this, or maybe I did that. If you actively think about what you are doing, and then you intentionally carry it out, and you do it in a way that you are attentive to yourself and attentive to others, if people don't like it or if it doesn't work, it's a lot easier to keep going and go, okay, that person's not the right person, or it's not the right time, for me to lead them. Or this didn't work out, and that's fine. That's okay. It's great. So I wanted to share that with you today. I would love to hear if you find that valuable. Please let me know in the comments. And if you are interested in attending our leadership conference here in November in Ohio, I will go ahead and drop the link for that in the comments so you can check that out. The way that we have this set up is you actually get to request an invitation to join us because we want to talk to each and every person before they sign up to ensure that we give you attention and we can be intentional with making sure that your needs are met to the best of our ability when you come. So, love you all. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the request for invitation for the conference. And I will be back on, I'm not going to say daily, but I will be doing this as a series moving forward. So if you are watching this in the future, please hashtag replay so I can come back and say hi to you and say thank you for watching. And I will see you soon again with the next lesson. Bye, y'all.